confession you are about to hear is an actual tape recording.
All right, read the statement, please.
I make this confession of my own free will because it is true. There's not been any force or violence used upon my person to induce me to make these statements. Without promise of immunity or award or gratuity, I confess.
You understand, of course, that your statement will be made public through the radio program Confession.
Yes, I do.
Your name, for the purpose of this broadcast, will be George S. Decker. Do you understand that? George, do you understand?
Yes.
You are listening to Confession. The case history of the subject referred to as George S. Decker is a matter of documented record. You will hear the story of his crime experience as told in his own words.
All right, continue, please.
I never met anyone like her. Never.
Like whom, George?
Terry.
Terry.
Teresa. She was tall. Her hair was reddish-brown color, and she just wasn't anything like.
Like whom, George?
Well, she was different. Different than my mother.
Oh.
Different than anyone I knew. I fell in love with her the first time I met her.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was about a year and a half ago.
You were 22 then, is that right?
No, I was not quite 22 then.
Mm-hmm. Were you working?
Yeah, right there in Santa Ana.
George, how did you meet Teresa?
Well, we had an argument. Another one of those arguments. She was always telling me what to do.
Teresa was always telling you?
Hmm?
Teresa, you and Teresa argued?
No. No, I told you I was living with my mother. We were always arguing.
I see. You mean your mother and you argued?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she treated me like a kid. She was always telling me to do this, do that, eat this, don't eat that.
Georgie.
Oh, it's true. For Pete's sake, Mom, don't you think I'm old enough to know how to eat?
Georgie, please, don't be so nervous.
How can I help being nervous? All you do is worry and fret and stew about your darling little boy. Your darling little boy's not so little anymore. He can take care of himself.
Well, I know you can, dear. I never said you couldn't.
No, but you'd like to say it, wouldn't you? You think it all the time, so why don't you say it? Go on, say it.
Georgie, please sit down. Eat.
I'm not hungry.
What is it, Georgie? What bothers you? Why do we always have these arguments over nothing?
Oh, no, it's all my fault. Now, go ahead, blame the arguments on me.
I didn't say anything was your fault, Georgie.
No, but you're thinking it, aren't you?
No.
Not much you're not.
Georgie, where are you going?
Oh, for Pete's sake, can I even go out the door without filing a report?
Georgie!
That's how it always was. She was always trying to keep me home with her. Even as a kid, I never got to hang around with the other kids in the neighborhood. Mom saw to that. Then when my old man died and I had to quit school and go to work, she seemed to need me more. If I wasn't working, I'd stay home with her, keeping her company, pay the rent, pay the bills. Every night I'd do crossword puzzles in the dinette. She'd do the ironing or mending or something in the kitchen. We had nothing to talk about, nothing to do. That night was the same as any other night, but I just had to get out. A guy my age needs people around him. A little action, a few laughs.
Oh, well, now. Look what's all alone and feeling blue. Hi, honey.
All right.
Well, smile a little.
I'm all right.
Come on, smile for Terry.
What for?
I know a Cocker Spaniel looks just like you. Except your ears don't droop. Come on, smile. Well, that's it. Now, you going to buy me a drink?
You working here?
Does that make a difference?
No.
Okay, then. Mac?
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Well, he knows. Don't you, Mac?
Usual, Terry?
Yeah. You, honey?
Bourbon. Bourbon and water.
Take scotch. It's better for the head.
I like bourbon.
Oh, now you're looking like that Cocker Spaniel again.
I don't like to be told what's good for me.
Okay, forget it. Get the whole thing. See you around.
Oh, wait a minute.
What for?
I'm sorry. Please, have a drink with me.
Oh, now that's a little bit better.
Well, kid, what are you drinking?
Scotch. Scotch and water, Mac. It's better for my head. She wasn't the kind of girl I ever figured I'd fall for. She was beautiful, but, well, you know the type, a little too much lipstick, wrong kind of clothes. But she had a way of looking at me that started motors buzzing inside me. After the place closed, I walked Terry home. She had a room in one of those old places right downtown.
Cut it out, baby. Next thing you'll be telling me how much you love me.
Is that so terrible? Terry, listen,
Say, little one, it's late. You better go home to Mama.
Don't say that.
What?
Don't talk to me like that.
Okay. Good night. Goodbye. See you around.
Hey, Terry, wait. I'm sorry, honest. I gotta see you again, please.
Look, honey, you're a nice kid, but the kind of places I like to go, you can't afford.
No? What makes you so sure?
Well,
What makes you so sure I can't afford it?
Well, since you put it that way, maybe I'm not so sure.
The next night, I took her up to Los Angeles to a real swanky restaurant and to a hotel to dance. I'd never been to either place before because I could never afford it, and I never had the occasion. But now I had to afford it, and I had the occasion. I was with Terry. We went out a lot after that, Terry and me. She even stopped wearing so much lipstick, and I bought her the right kind of clothes to wear, presents. And she wore them to please me. They cost a lot of money, and they made her look more beautiful than ever.
Look, hon, I picked this dress out for myself. Like it?
Oh, gosh, that's beautiful. Where did you get that?
Tracy's. I opened a charge account there.
A charge? That's a pretty expensive store there, isn't it?
Oh, now, baby, you're sounding like a husband or something.
No, I got bills to pay for my mother, too.
I know.
Well, after all,
Don't you ever forget Mama.
No. Sometimes I wish I could, but I don't.
Come here, honey.
Hmm?
Come here. Come on over here.
Sometimes we go to Laguna or over to Long Beach, but most of the time we just hang around Santa Ana in a bar, someplace or other. It was always pretty late when I got home. What are you doing up so late, Mom?
Just waiting for you.
What now?
I never get a chance to talk to you anymore, Georgie.
Not tonight, Mom. It's late.
Georgie.
Not tonight, Mom.
Mr. Blackett stopped in this afternoon.
Yeah?
He wanted his rent, Georgie. Last month's and this month's.
He'll get it. Oh, let's sleep.
Georgie, you told me you paid the rent.
Oh, for Pete's sake, we're going to argue about that now.
I don't want to argue, son. I just didn't know what to say to him. I was so sure you'd paid it.
What are you trying to do, make me out a liar?
No, dear.
You let me handle it, will you? I'm running this house. You keep out of it. Keep out of all my business.
I'm not interfering. It's your money. It's your business. But if you'd only...
If I'd only what? If I'd only stop spending so much on Terry. Is that what you want to say?
Oh, Georgie.
Look, you let me tell you something. You can interfere all you want, but Terry's the girl I'm going to marry.
Mary.
Mm-hmm. Marry. Suppose you think she's not good enough for your darling little boy.
Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say anything.
No, but you're thinking it.
I don't even know the girl.
Yeah, but you're thinking it anyway. You're...
Georgie, please. Please stop it. Stop it. I haven't said anything. Stop it, please.
Mom. Mom, look, cut it out, huh? You don't have to cry like that. Mom, listen, I'm sorry. I don't know why I blow up like this. Please, Mom, don't cry.
All right. It's all right, Georgie.
I hated her for crying like that. When she cried, it made me feel sorry for her. It made me feel everything was my fault. I hated her for that. And Terry, I hated her even more for putting me in a spot like that. I had to borrow money against my salary to pay the rent. A few weeks later, I had to borrow again to pay Terry's charge account. I got sore. I told Terry to quit spending so much money.
Is it so terrible to show a girl how much you love her? Is it, honey?
Never mind that stuff, Terry. You know I can't afford it.
You talk more like a husband every day.
I can't help it. No, please, Terry, you got to go easy. After all, we're not married yet.
Married?
What's so funny?
Oh, honey, you're a sweet kid. But you and me married?
What's wrong with you and me being married? Huh? What's wrong with it?
Georgie, what would you do with your mama? Take her along on our honeymoon?
Stop that. You stop that. You stop that. I said, all right. Don't you laugh at me like that. I'll kill you if you let me.
George! Stop it, George!
I swear I'm a kid. I'll kill
George!
you.
Please! Please, George! Stop!
You are listening to Confession. Before continuing with the documented record of the subject referred to as George S. Decker, the National Broadcasting Company is honored to present Mr. Richard A. McGee, Director of Corrections, Department of Corrections, State of California. Mr. McGee.
The story you are hearing tonight is a story about a man who is mentally ill. You would never know it if you saw him on the street. The mentally ill wear no scars. Yet a psychiatrist's report on him might read as follows. Passive, dependent personality with emotional instability and immaturity. In simpler language, this man is totally unprepared to cope with reality. There is an explosive quality in him which might someday erupt into a crime of anger and violence. Perhaps if his parents had recognized in him these symptoms of abnormal behavior, he might have been helped. For most of the mentally ill, there is treatment and cure.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. Now to continue with Confession and the documented record of the subject referred to as George S. Decker.
All right. Continue with your story.
I had her neck in my hands. Yeah, I can remember it easy. It was like this. I held her like this.
All right. All right, go on with your story.
Like this. My thumb squeezed tight into her throat.
That's all right. Why were you trying to kill her, George?
See my thumbs?
Why were you trying to kill her, George?
Kill her? Terry?
Yes. You were trying to kill her, weren't you?
No. Not Terry. I was trying to kill...
Who?
I don't know exactly. She was Terry, but she was my mother, too. I was like I had my mother's neck in my hands. And
George, you're a sap. You're the biggest sap I know.
I was choking.
Sure, I know. Go on, get out of here.
Terry.
Go on. Get out of here.
Please, Terry.
Beat it. You can't even do a good job of murder.
I started to walk home, but I just kept on walking. My hands hurt. My fingers were cramped. My head kept spinning.